I'm here to bring some good news as we have a new balance patch happening and there's a lot of things being changed. So it's gonna be a while to go through this. And the patch, by the time this video is live, I will be asleep, but the patch will already be live. So if you're already awake or depending on your time zone, you can start grinding. So first thing, most obvious thing, Zashian getting a nerf. Not a surprise, right? Now 1 star has 200 less HP, 2 star has 450 less HP, and 3 star has 1200 less HP. But that's not all of it. They also nerfed the Unite move again that you get on 6 Fairy. Not before, right? That's all 6 Fairy. Where you get it from by another 50%. Was already nerfed from 700. So against healing comms, hopefully, you know, they're able to sustain it. And I think 6 Fairy might not something you necessarily go for anyways. And depending on what else is in this patch, we are going to see. So that's a good nerf already. I mean, Zashian, as you guys know, as you saw my videos as well, Zashian was a core of every single team. If you get a Zashian early game and you get a kind of bit going, just even 3 or 4 get Tinkaton, Mime, Azumarill, you were cruising through the entire game. Then next up, we have Ice type, which also was pretty strong on this patch. Snowfall freeze duration reduced from 1 second to 0.6. That's a heavy nerf for Ice Pokemon. The top ones were Fairy, Ice, Grass, and Fire, right? So we'll see what else is going to be in it. You're going to see Fire type is also nerfed, as we have damage reduction increased from 70 to 50% on 6 Fire. So the 3 heavy things got nerfed, which I think, I mean, it's totally good. I think they were a bit too strong, definitely. We'll see if anything else can catch up to it now, if they leave everything else a bit the same, just to make sure, you know, nothing else is overpowered. But these 3 nerfs already might allow so many more different things to be played, which is very exciting as a content creator, because that's all I want to do is play as many things as possible. Then, next up, we have Ghost getting a buff. Attack speed and dual attack, 15% damage reduction, 40 to... Also from 15% dual attack and attack speed to 30%. And damage reduction from 40 to 50%, I assume, during its effect. And then on 3, it is 25, 40 to 40 and 50. And on 4 Ghost, 30 to 45 and 40 still to 50. So damage reduction is now 50% across the entire board. And attack speed, and I think it's attack and special attack, right? You get that's dual attack, is just straight up buffed by a lot. That might make Ghost very, very good. Definitely something I would try very early on the new patch. Then something also like seeing is Eevees getting buffed. Eevees are kind of difficult right now, I feel like, to get. They're just very high cost, right? You need to hit Sylveon, so it's pretty difficult. And what do we have right here? We have damage bonus increase from 10 to 15%, damage reduction by 5%, and also basic attack grants skill charge from 6 to 8 points. So if you want to get an early Eevee ship or you get one, you already have one Eevee, might be something you want to look out for. As we scroll down, we have fighting now. Fighting pretty lackluster on this patch. I try to make Urshifu work all the time, but it's so difficult. But now with Ice is a huge counter to Urshifu. If you don't have the anti-stun cloak, you're just done for. Nothing you can do against Ice as Urshifu. So we'll see if we now can do something with Fairy being nerfed, other stuff being nerfed, if Urshifu can actually do something, or even just Lucario. I mean, also it's great for Lucario. Lucario was one of the best mid-game carries for a while, which has dropped off a lot, right? It's still pretty good though, but now more lifesteal on fighting. That's it for the synergies. So honestly, not too bad. I do like it. They're being a bit careful. If you wonder why there's no poison buff, it's because they're actually buffing the poison Pokemon. I still wish they would just remove 6 poison, make it 5 poison, and then just change those around a bit. Because 3 ships is always just a bit ridiculous, and then 2 being somewhat reasonable. If the final thing is not too overpowered, I think definitely would make more sense. Also, what I really like to see would be like a water ship being added, maybe an electric ship, just a ship for every synergy to make it, you know, to make comms more exciting. So let's head over to the Pokemon adjustments. You have the first one, Tinkaton. Normal attack frequency slightly decreased, so I assume just less damage. Also another Fairy nerf at the same time. Then we have Sylveon, a special skill, which is the Unite move or the disc, whatever you want to call it. Skill charge recovery reduced at 2-star level, so less Unite moves on Sylveon. Actually, didn't really like it that much anyways, but I mean, that's fine. Sure. Beartic, special skill, shield ratio reduced from 1.2 max HP to 0.9. So Beartic getting another nerf with Ice on top of it. That is pretty brutal. And now there's something crazy. They're actually buffing one of my favorite units in the entire game. Of course, it gets outvalue late game by Clefable and stuff, by Ho-Oh and other things, because Water Pulse only heals around Lapras and only Lapras, right? So you have all your units next to Lapras for it to be a healer. But buffing it, ooh, that is wild. So Water Pulse now having more healing. I already thought it hit a crazy amount. So if you hit a early Lapras, if you just have a 1-star Lapras, you pick it every single game. I know I've already done this before. And if you have a Rescue Hood or Leftovers or the Choice Scarf, it's going to just go absolutely crazy. So always buy any Lapras you see, honestly. Even just for early game, for early rounds. If you see one, you are probably cruising for a while. Unless some of the enemies have so much damage that Lapras just dies. Of course, that's why I kind of need items on it still, even if it's 1-star. Then we have Venusaur. The first poison unit being buffed right here. You can already see Arbok as well. Sludge Bomb poison damage increase from 10 to 20. So straight up Sludge Bomb damage buff. Sure, double the damage. Arbok poison, whatever it's called, poison damage 20 to 30. And healing ratio also increased. I already like this ability. Actually healed pretty decently. It's just that he doesn't really have anything for late game going because poison is just bad. Poison Sting, poison damage 20 to 30. Enemy do attack reduction 20 to 25%. So just some small Arbok buffs. Sounds nice. We definitely try it. Then we have Gengar. Sludge Bomb poison damage increased also double. Sludge Bomb damage increased twice. So maybe we don't even need poison chips. No, maybe make it work now. Who knows? You can just run poison units, maybe. And we have a special skill, poison damage increased similarly. So also, so Gengar got a massive buff in this patch. I mean, it was pretty lackluster. But it got Ghost. Oh my god, Gengar's gonna be insane. It got a Ghost buff, Sludge Bomb buff, and special skill buff. So Gengar might be crazy, depending. Of course, I'm gonna try it. Now, Gengar's also one of the first things I'm gonna try. With Ghost, with poison and stuff. That sounds insane, potentially. Of course, first, we don't know how... If you have to first play a game, otherwise it's hard to tell. We have to see with our own eyes, right? It's always just theory. We're gonna see it. Then we have a Lucario buff. At the same time as fighting getting buffed. Extreme speed increased. I was playing close combat now always. It seemed better. And also more healing from extreme speed. I think I still might stick to close combat unless this really is a lot of damage. And then Bone Rush also having damage increase, which is the Unite move. So weird they call it sometimes special skill and sometimes just the move. But yeah. That's just how it is. Bone Rush getting a buff, Extreme Speed getting a buff, and fighting. So Lucario might be pretty good again to pick. I still pick Lucario sometimes. Zoroark, Shadow Claw, damage increase from 220 to 240 attack. That's decent. And special skill also having more damage. Maybe Dark might also be playable again. Dark attack speed has some ways definitely of being something you can play. Zoroark is just always a bit too weak, I feel like. So definitely might help Dark a bit. As we also have a Tyranitar buff. So Dark might just be back on the board. As we have the Unite move attack speed buff increase from 50% to 80%. So 30% more attack speed on its Unite move. Sounds pretty good. Combined with the lifesteal and maybe some items. And then Umbreon also getting a buff. So many Dark unit buffs. As we have Snarl giving a bigger shield, 40% more. But it's already, I mean, it's 820 to 860. I don't know if that's going to matter that much more. And also the Unite move giving a bigger shield. This one definitely matters more. Umbreon is something that was OP in the first season. Right now, just kind of, yeah, you don't really need it. But with this, you know, with Dark maybe being a thing again. But definitely something we can explore. Clefable getting yet another nerf. Less healing on Moonlight. And I mean, I think it's fair. I mean, honestly, I do think there's sometimes way too much sustain in the game. Way too much, right? Things just don't die. And that's a big issue. I do think rounds should end, and they shouldn't end in a tie either, but sometimes there's just, the rounds just never end. There's so much healing, so much shielding, unKOable units at the same time. So, yeah. I think that's definitely a good change. Clefable was still one of the top units. Same for Eldegoss, as Eldegoss is also getting a nerf, which I think is totally fair. Cotton Guard now having 1 second less shield duration, and the special skill also having less healing from 640 to 600. So they buff Lapras, which I'm surprised to, but they nerf Clefable and Eldegoss at the same time. So some of the healing and sustain getting targeted, and it's also a nerf for Grass. So we didn't have a Grass Synergy nerf, which I don't think we need. But yeah, that's definitely a nerf to Grass. But it's a nerf to any comp, because Eldegoss was just a very strong unit. Then we have Mega Mewtwo X getting a skill change requirement increase from 6 to 70. So both these moves are going to require 10 more to cast. And a Mega State attack speed increase from 30 to 80%. and do a defense boost from 300 to 400. They're actually buffing Mewtwo though. My 10% less per move is definitely noticeable, but having 50% more attack speed in its Mega State and also being tankier definitely sounds very strong. Normal Rhydon, still a very strong unit, of course. Let's see what it does now. So we have the Meteor. Damage reduced from 220 to 200%. So already nerf on its Unite. On its Meteor. It used to be its Unite. And knock-up time also reduced from 0.75 to 0.6. But he's also getting a buff. And I do like this buff because it was painful. Miraidon didn't cast its Unite move if it was Meteoring, right? So like it took ages for it to come out sometimes. And now it just starts immediately at the start of the battle. Which I think is good, but they probably have to stay nerf Miraidon a bit more if it's instantly usable. But that's definitely a good change. I mean, I hated how it worked. I really didn't like the way it worked. For sure not. Then we have Gyarados getting a buff. Aqua Tail, even more. You know, that's all of it. Aqua Tail damage increased. I tried Aqua Tail. I couldn't tell if it was doing anything. So it's getting another buff. Maybe it does something now. Definitely going to try it. Then we have Special Skill. Basic attack requirement reduced from 8 to 6. So it's going to Unite move much more often. And also the damage increased by... Oof, okay. by 90%. Well, not 90%, but 360 to 450. That is a lot. And if you maybe play like if you have like damage items, you maybe play the offensive synergy with a Gyarados, that could be very scary right now. Definitely also going to try that, a full offensive, full powering up our Gyarados and seeing how much the Unite move can do, because that sounds very strong. Then we have Hooper, one of the best units in the game. I always feel like I lose to it. Let's see if it's any different. Special skill, normal attacks required increase, so now it needs 4 basic attacks to cast the berries it spawns. And the skill charge refund reduced from 20 to 15. So hitting the special skill. I feel like the minus 100% healing is a bit too OP, but it's definitely a good nerf in the right direction. Don't mind it all too much. And for the last Pokemon, badadam. Let's do it up here. We have Azumarill. Azumarill having Whirlpool damage increased from 180 to 200%, healing increased from 180 to 200%, and also special skill. Each hit's damage increased from 100 to 120%. Healing increased from 60 to 75. So, also something I noticed already, Azumarill buff, Gyarados buff, and Lapras buff. Playing water could be finally something. Again, there's no water ship. I really wish there was a water ship so I can just run 5 water with a late game Miraidon or late game Mewtwo or Ho-Oh, right? The problem is that you always have to run 6 water for the 6 effect, and it just doesn't allow you to have like any sorts of opening, which is quite annoying. Definitely don't like how it works, that some units or like some synergies have ship cards and some downs. Also, I still wish they would make ship cards the way that if you put a ship onto a Pokemon, it turns into the synergy and it gains the effect of it. I think that would also makes a lot of sense. And if you say that might be too overpowered, they still lose one entire item for it, right? So if you put it onto a carry Pokemon, they gain the synergy on top of it, but they also lose one entire item, which on a carry can make a big difference, right? So I think that would be a great way to maybe make it even more exciting, the game. But we'll see. Again, still in the early stages. I think this patch is pretty nice. I'm going to try a lot of things. I'm going to try water. I'm going to try a full Gyarados. We're going to try maybe a carry Mewtwo. We're going to try, Dark again, as I said. Fighting, Lucario. Definitely Gengar with Ghost. We have Poison on the menu. So, lots of things. Hopefully not enough Fairy. Also EVs, of course, I want to play. So, there's a lot of things to do. And I hope to see you guys in the next videos. I hope you guys are going to continue watching them because I really enjoy playing this game. So I'd appreciate any support. And yeah, see you guys in the next video. Bye!